Well, good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your futures market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening, and I'm early. It's 5:10 p.m. on Tuesday, and this is the 30th of January, 2024. I'm early because my son came in finally. I haven't seen him in almost just shy of 2 years. They came in. They're going to spend some time with us. We're going to the Bulls game tonight, so got to be there. He hasn't been there in a long time. We're walking distance to the stadium, which is phenomenal. So we'll leave right after this, head over there, have dinner, and then catch a good basketball game. So when we look at all that is going on right now, you're down in the stock index, the NASDAQ, and that's because the earnings season is underway. And today was a lot of companies coming out, a lot of the big tech companies. Alphabet was one of them. And there's misses on these numbers. And as they're missing on the numbers, the question is, how does that carry over overnight? The traders look at it and go, you know why they're missing? We got a one-time charge. Or no, they're not good enough on what they did here. Or wait, where was the bar set? You got to let it digest. But if you stay like that, you're going to lose the bullish embedded reading in that market. Tomorrow, what do we have at 1 o'clock? The FOMC. So the Fed is going to give you the FOMC, the monetary policy statement. You got a mixed bag right now in currencies. They're sort of waffling. You were up today on the energies. The market is very concerned as to what's going to happen with U.S. retaliation against the attack in Jordan on 3 soldiers that were killed and dozens hurt. But I don't think anything happens from this Biden administration until they know, do they have a deal on a truce? And they claim closer between Hamas and Israel. So obviously, if you can get a truce, you wait on everything, because at the end of the day, if that fighting stops, then why would the Houthis have to keep doing what they're doing in the Red Sea, and why would all that continue on during the truce? If the truce can lead to a peace, everything changes back to how it was. That doesn't mean that the U.S. won't punish Iran in some manner for what they did. But as Antony Blinken so carefully says, time is on our side. Time and place, we will choose what to do. That is smart. Biden is not. When he says we won't hit Iran on their soil, why do you say anything? Just be quiet. So much easier, okay? I hate that I have to tell the president how to do that, but you know something? Doesn't he have advisors? You just be quiet. You don't do that. All right. When we take a look at this and get a feel for where we're at, maybe we should take a look at all the reports tomorrow first. Why don't we do that? Tomorrow morning at 6, you're going to get the Mortgage Bankers Association numbers. ADP's coming out at 7:15 in the morning. We're looking for 150,000 new jobs versus 164. I believe Challenger Gray also comes out with corporate layoffs. So we'll see when that comes out. Fourth quarter 2023 employment cost index comes out at 7:30. We're looking for a 1% quarter over quarter cost increase. The Chicago PMI data comes out at 8:45 in the morning, and we are counting on that to show an improvement in the number, back up to maybe 48 from a 46.9. You got to get over 50s to show expansion. And the Federal Reserve monetary policy decision comes out at 1 with the press conference at 1:30. Keywords are going to be what's in the statement. Everybody, I don't know why, they're all looking to see, does the Fed drop the wording, risks to the upside, which they think is code word that the Fed is discussing rate cuts. Okay, now you know what the market is thinking. Let's take a look right here. So coming back to the chart, you're still up and away. And for the week, even with the corrections, going in the midweek, you're up right now 1/3% on the week. When we take a look at where the chart action is, you can see that the market's begun a small correction. You can see it right through here. The market is still over all the key moving averages. Momentum-wise, you hit the Bollinger Band and suddenly you're not hitting it every day again. So that's a market that's digesting information and having to make a decision. It's so far away from losing the embedded reading that I still think the market's in buy mode, but it's dangerous. You don't know what the Fed chair is going to say tomorrow. You don't know how the reaction to it's going to be. I realize that every day this week we have major corporate earnings. There were 104 or 108 companies out of the S&P 500 reporting just this week. So you're going to get waves of good, bad. They're going to come in. The market will react. All right. Where the market is getting hurt, and I'm very sensitive to it, is are you going to lose the bullish embedded reading in the NASDAQ? You're down to 76. Come back up 100, get unchanged. You'll get back towards that 80 level. You have to really start cranking it up to keep it going. But this is the first sign that you're now seeing the weakening in the NASDAQ. So be careful. And if it weakens much more, you could be going back to the 17,200 level. And we may look back at this and say the market made a top in January and the market corrects at some point. That would not be a surprise to many traders. Nothing can keep growing to the sky, and this rally began here at the end of October. So somewhere it's going to end. As I promised you, and this is what I'm going to remind you of, the proper thing is you're going to leave money at the top of a market. Yep, because that meant you were with the trend until it ended. People have such a hard time in understanding that because what they want to do is pick the top and inevitably they're wrong. Where would you have picked it? At what point here? That's not what you do. Let it top and then you take a look at the market. When you come over to the Russell, you're trying to get an embedded reading. The Dow. You're trying to get an embedded reading out of it. All right. So you got strength coming in there. What about the Russell? Nah, that was on my brain. You're up to the upper Bollinger Band in resistance, overbought. It's still not the place to be. In the 10-year notes, now take a look at this action. You've climbed up enough to take out that prior high. So you have a lower low, higher high. Your momentum is lost to the downside. You're getting neutral going into the report, and that's right where you should be in it. When we look at the 5-year note, you're fighting the battle right at the 18-day average of closes. In the dollar index, a lower low and a higher high. You're fighting this market right here. You're still embedded, still have the bullish momentum, even though the market was down today. In the euro, we have the higher high, lower low. The market's just in an oversold mode at this point in time. The British pound, well, we have this week the Bank of England telling us what they're going to do. So be careful. You are as neutral as you can be in this action. Let's see what they say and where they're headed. Don't be a hero guessing that one. Then we come to the Bitcoin. And I thought I made this change. This is the February Bitcoin. I know I had done it. I don't know what happened there. I'll go in right after this and change it again. But you are now back into a friendly mode, all right? It's too much dollar risk. If one were to buy, in my opinion at least, at 43,360, you're really going to put a stop here at the 38,000 level? No, I don't think so. But it's telling you that the short side of this has run its course. And I'd be very cautious about wanting to be overly short. Now, I'm moving to the differential between April Brent and April WTI, all right? Because tomorrow's the last trading day in the March Brent crude oil. So the differential's right here. The market has peaked out. And the smaller this gets, it sort of tells me that, is there really that much war premium being put into Brent oil? That's the question that I'd have. The battleground for the Brent, and here it is, you have a market that is right now still embedded. I think if we take a look at this, we'll see these numbers are over 80. Definitely so, quite a ways. So if it loses it, and that's what you look for, then the market might be saying it wants to come back here into the 79. Would a truce statement do that? Probably. So just things you got to look at and understand where you're at. This is the first move over the 100-day average. It's always dangerous on that first move. So be very, very cautious here. Where are you stopping in the WTI? Right at that 100-day average in the Bollinger Band. I think professional money is coming out. Now, the Saudis have said they're going to stop the idea of increased production at their facilities. They're still only running 9 million barrels a day out of a possible 12 that they can produce. They were going to increase the facility to go to 13 million barrels. They announced today they're not going to. They don't see the demand for it at this point in time. Saves them some money. But Saudi Aramco is also demanding certain premiums that they want, dividends, and so on. Remember, it's a state-owned company, so they can do quite a bit with that. Their budget isn't, I guess, getting full. They were hoping for over $100 a barrel at this time. Read the reports. You'll see what I'm saying. I don't make it up. In the heating oil market, now the question is, can you stay over this? I just saw the 10-day forecast in Chicago. Chicago is not the United States. It's one part. But our norm's 31. We're going to be averaging closer to 44, 45 degrees, up near 50 next week. This right on through. So there is a warming trend that is running here. And it is we had that 10-day period that was real winter. And now we're getting the other side of it that is milder. And of course, each time we get into a new month, the weather's not going to be as severe. In the March natural gas, still bearish. I just see this market on hard rallies still to be sold. Looks to me like you still have plenty of it. The world is starting to complain about the Biden policy he and his cohorts have come up with, where we'll stop new projects as we do studies on natural gas. You got allies. What is this all about? And it opens the door for Canada. So if you go to Bloomberg today, you will read Canada's going, thank you, America. We can meet your needs, Europe. People, understand, when you have an edge, you use it. You don't have to go all out. As I said, we are all in the world very, very aware of the climate change. We are all working towards it. How many solar panels do we now have in the United States? How many roofs are getting done with it? How many windmills do we have, land and in the water? It's all happening. But if you want this to happen overnight, it's not, number one, not realistic. Number two, if you give up your edge, somebody will pick it up right in front of you. They'll keep going because the demand is there for it as the world makes its change. So you put it together, you get a game plan, and tomorrow's going to be one fun day. So what do you do with it? Well, get ready. You might want to get our reports because we will cover it in detail, all of these, with our market reports, our emails. If you haven't received them, go to iraepstein.com under free offers and sign up for things there. You can move your cursor at any point to the top here and just go for free offers and leave it at that. I'm Ira Epstein. You have yourself a good day. I'll be with you at 5 in the morning. Have a good evening.